topic, main verb and auxiliary verbs. Okay, so verbs we discussed regular and irregular verbs, and also we had a small, short discussion about the main verbs and auxiliary verbs, isn't it? So main verbs, I said main verbs that can stand as a complete verb. It is in the form of a finite verb. It can stand by itself. Sometimes we are using those main verbs along with an auxiliary verb, like am going, exactly the finite verb. I'm going, he is dancing. But if the question in the question if the question is to identify the main verb, means you have to include this finite verb. Finite verbs are the main verbs. Okay. If the auxiliary verbs are not there, then you can write jumps, moves, plays, everything as or wrote. All these are the examples for main verbs. But at the same time, if the question is specifically asked for you to mention or to pick out the auxiliary verb from the sentence, means if it is running, is the auxiliary verb there, running is the main verb there, so that main verb is complete only with is. Okay, that is why it is called main verb. Is running is a main verb, but is an auxiliary verb. Okay, so you have to think twice before answering. If the question, if in the question paper, if the question is she is dancing on the stage, okay, if the question is to pick out the auxiliary verb, which one you will prefer? She is
Is.
dancing on the stage. Which one is your
Is.
auxiliary verb there?
Is.
Is. If the question is pick out the main verb from the sentence, what will you prefer?
Is dancing. Is
Very good,
Is
very good. So
dancing.
see the difference. See
dancing.
the difference between a main verb and an auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb, it is a helping verb. It helps the main verb to complete its, its meaning, right? She is dancing. Dancing is the main verb, and we are using this is the auxiliary verb to support the main verb dancing to show the exact time of action. If in the question paper, the question is to pick out the auxiliary verb, you can prefer only is. If the same question is given and it is told you to pick out the main verb, you have to write the finite verb. He is running. Clear? Am I
Okay,
clear?
ma'am.
So we had a
Yes,
small
ma'am.
discussion about the auxiliary verbs. Let me share the screen for you children. So auxiliary verbs and main verbs, we had a small discussion on the last class. I said there is another name. You can prefer, you can expect a question. What is the other name given for the main verb? The main verb is also known as, or it is also called the principal
Principal
verb.
verb.
Okay, it is one of the important verb. Principal means principal is one of the supreme authority of the school, right? So principal verb means it is one of the important verb or which shows the exact time of action in the sentence, right? So it shows the action of the subject. Remember, a verb is used for showing the action of the subject at what time. Okay, whether it is continuing, the action is continuing, whether the action is completed, whether the action has any relevance in the present or it has happened already in the past. Okay, everything can be guessed or everything can be understood only by looking at the verb. Okay, so main verbs can stand alone. This is what I said. He works hard. If the sentence is he works hard, here works is a main verb, isn't it? Because it shows the exact time of action. Works shows that this is present and singular, isn't it?
Ma'am.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so a main verb, it can stand alone in a sentence. And it is used also with the helping verb. You know, helping verbs are be forms, helping verbs are do forms, you have forms, you have modal auxiliaries, you have semi-modals, everything are there, right? So this main verb can be used with all these helping verbs, all these auxiliary verbs. I am reading a book. Here reading is the main verb, and to get a complete, to give a complete meaning, to give an exact time of action, we are attaching am. So am reading is the finite verb. It is the main verb. It shows the exact time of action, isn't it? Ahil Samir. Isn't it? Am I clear, Ahil? Ahil
Yes,
Samir, am I clear? Yes. Okay. So I played cricket. Here, played is the verb. It is the main verb. It can stand alone. This is the main verb and that shows the exact time of action. Am I clear?
yes,
Am I
ma'am.
clear, children?
Yes,
This is
ma'am.
what we
Yes,
discussed
ma'am.
about main verbs. And remember, main verb, it is an action word. Jumps, played, laughs. Okay, this is a main verb. This shows an action. Okay, and a word that tells about an action is called a verb in English grammar. Examples of main verb: love, loves, loved; dance, dances, danced; sing, sang,
Okay, ma'am.
sings; erase, erases, erased; play, plays, played, say, said, says, write, writes, and wrote are the main verb. Okay, it can stand alone in a sentence. See here, my mother sings a song. Sings a single main verb here, because why it is called the main verb? Because by looking at the main verb, we'll be able to identify the tense. Okay, sing shows this is an example for simple present, isn't it? So this is a main verb. I visit my grandma. So visit, this is also an example for a present tense, right? So visit shows the exact time of action. So this is a main verb over here. We can, yes.
It will come, I visited my grandma, right?
I visited my grandmother can be used. So there in that sentence, visited is the main verb, right? Because it talks about a past action, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me share the screen once again. I wrote a poem. So here I can use visit, visits and visited as main verb. Here I is the subject. That is why I have used the word visit. Okay, if it is he, I should have to change into he visits. Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no? Because of I use the base form visit. Okay, because of I use the verb visit. If it is he, then I have to change the verb into visits, isn't it? Because along, if the subject is singular, we can take only a singular verb. That is why he visits. Okay, he visits. Visits is a main verb because I can identify the tense of this verb. The tense is actually present, right? Simple present, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here I is the subject. That is why I have written visit. You can also write as someone said, you can also write I visited. Visited shows this is an example for simple past, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
So this is a main verb example. Okay, this is also an example for a main verb. That is why I wrote a poem. Wrote is a main verb over here because it shows the exact time of action. Okay, this is an action word. This is the principal word. And we discussed about auxiliary verbs in common. Auxiliary verbs, I have told you. Another name for the auxiliary verb is helping verb. I also discussed children. She is dancing on the stage. She is dancing on the stage. In the sentence, dancing is the main verb. This is the present participle form of a verb. But by looking at dancing, I am not able to identify the tense. Right? So here, is an auxiliary verb support the main verb dancing. So is plus dancing shows that this is an example for present continuous, isn't it?
Yes,
So now is dancing is the main verb, but is supporting dance the main verb to complete its meaning or to show the exact time of action. So what is the purpose of is there? Is actually supporting the main verb. To support a main verb, we are using such a verb, and those verbs are coming under the category called auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Clear? That is why be forms, the do forms, and have forms are known as helping verb because it helps the main verb to show the exact time of action. With the help of this am, is, or was, where, with the help of do, does, did, with the help of has, have, had, we'll be able to identify the time of action. We'll guess the tense form only by looking at the verb, isn't it? So is dancing is a main verb. If the question is to pick out the auxiliary verb, then is the auxiliary verb which supports the main verb dancing to complete the time of action. Right? So is dancing shows the sentence is an example for present continuous. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And remember, auxiliary verbs. Remember, always keep this in your mind. Auxiliary verb, it usually accompany a main verb. Is plus dancing. Right? Have plus heard. Right? So usually these auxiliary verb, it is normally not every time. She is my best friend. Okay, she is my friend. Here is an auxiliary verb or a main verb in use. She is my friend. Tell me whether is used as a main verb or an auxiliary verb.
Main verb.
This is a
Main
main
verb.
verb.
Main verb.
Excellent, excellent, Anthony Joel. Wonderful, absolute, perfect answering. So she is my best friend. Here, is a main verb. Why it is a main verb? Because we are identifying the tense form by looking at the this verb, right? Is. So is also coming under the main verb. There is no other main verb here, and is not a supporting verb here. Is a main verb here. Is a finite verb here. So is actually called the main verb, not an auxiliary verb in the sentence. Okay, but here is dancing. She is. She is dancing. Then here is dancing is the main verb, where you can see is used to support a main verb, isn't it? So here is a helping verb, isn't
Yes,
it?
ma'am. Is auxiliary verb.
Is an auxiliary verb in the second example, but in the first example, is a main verb. Clear? Because it shows the tense form. The sentence is an example for simple present tense. Am I clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Very good, very good. So I've told you there are two types of auxiliary verbs present. We have primary auxiliary verbs and we have secondary auxiliary verbs, right? We discussed already. So just brushing up. So primary auxiliary verbs, as you all know, we have three subdivisions: be forms, do forms, and have forms, right? Be forms are there, do forms are there, have forms are there. So be forms are, as you all know, am, is, are, was, were. Do forms, do, does, did. Have forms, has, have, had. These are the three primary auxiliary verb. I've told you, children, why these are called as primary auxiliary verb. Why it is known as a primary auxiliary verb.
Because they can stand alone.
Huh?
They can stand alone.
What can stand alone? As I have told you a sentence, one sentence I constructed a few minutes before. She is my friend, right? There is used as the main verb. That is what Anthony Joel said, right? So whether if the auxiliary verb acts like a main verb, then those are coming under the primary auxiliary verb. So some auxiliary verbs, it can play a role of a main verb in a sentence, isn't it? Yes or no? So such a verbs are coming under the primary auxiliary. But secondary auxiliary verb, it is always used as a supporting verb, helping verb, because it can be attached only with the main verb. Clear?
Clear, ma'am.
Okay. Now, children, we have two types of auxiliary verbs. I said primary auxiliary verb. The reason you know, because sometimes it acts like a main verb in a sentence. Example, he does his work, isn't it? He does his work. In the sentence, now you tell me, in the sentence, this primary auxiliary verb, it acts like a main verb, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Main verb.
That is why it is also, because you can use the same verb in the form of, okay, simple example, the same example. He is my friend. Okay. Second one, I said, he is singing a song. He is singing a song. Singing only, right? Okay. He is singing. So look at here, look at here. In the first sentence, he is my friend.
Okay. Is main verb that time.
In the first sentence,
it is
is main verb. In the second sentence, is an auxiliary verb, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it supports singing the main verb, isn't
Yes,
it?
ma'am.
So an auxiliary verb, which can also plays the role of a main verb in a sentence. That is why it is coming under the category called primary auxiliary verb. All these verbs, am, is, are, was, were. I am your friend. So am there in that sentence, am shows the exact time of action. It is in the form of a main verb. So am can be also used in the form of an auxiliary verb. I am dancing, right? So
Yes,
such
ma'am.
a verbs are coming under the example for primary auxiliary verbs. Am I clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
That is why these are coming under the primary auxiliary verb. Okay, secondary auxiliary verbs are divided into modals. Modal auxiliary verb. Okay, and semi-modals. And the modal auxiliary verb, as you all know very clearly, can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might, must are the modal auxiliary verb. And the semi-modals are ought to, used to, need, dare. Remember, we cannot even label. See, we can label this semi-modal also under the modal auxiliary. Okay. Okay. We can also, if somebody asks you, give me some examples of modal auxiliary verb. After writing must, if you write ought to, used to, need, and dare, there is no mistake.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
There is
You can include, you can include all the semi-modals under modals. Okay, there is no problem for including ought to, used to under modal auxiliary. But if the question is to give some examples for a semi-modals, you cannot write can and could there.
Everything. Okay.
you cannot write can and could there. There you can include only ought to, used to, dare and need.
Why
Clear?
there is two sections?
Okay. Am I clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very clear. So please note it. B forms. B forms, you know, B forms, if we are talking about B forms, the primary auxiliary, do forms, the primary auxiliary, have forms, the primary auxiliary, again divided into present tense forms and past tense form. Okay, here am is present tense singular or present tense plural. And the past tense B form was singular, whereas used for plural. So here do form, do singular or plural?
Plural.
Plural. Do is plural and does is singular. So instead of singular and plural, we are using did. Okay, did can be used with the singular subject. It can be used with the plural subject. Okay, have and has. Have plural or singular in form?
Plural.
Plural. Has
Singular.
Singular.
singular. So instead of singular and plural, we can use had in the past tense. Please note it. Last time, a few children raised a few doubt regarding do and does. Make sure do is plural, does is singular. Has is singular, have is plural. Am is plural, sorry, singular or plural. Was singular, were
Had
plural.
is singular and plural.
Ah, yes, had. Singular and plural. Okay. And here, again, a small, a big one. Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must are coming under the modal auxiliary. Ought to, used to, need, dare. 8th standard, you will be learning in detail about the usages of ought to, used to, need, and dare. Okay, you can learn. But remember, children, whenever you use this, wait a minute, listen clearly. Whenever you use these modal auxiliaries in a sentence, remember after the modal auxiliaries, you can use only the base form of the verb. Okay, I can cook. I can run. I used to play. Okay, so here remember, if you are using I will come, will plus come. Okay, I will come. See, everywhere I'm using the base form, right? After modal auxiliaries, after semi-modals, I ought to respect. I ought to respect my parents. Ought to, the word is equal to the word should. Ought to means should. Okay, ought to is equal to should.
Okay,
Clear?
okay.
Clear? So remember, whenever you use a modal auxiliary, why it is called a modal auxiliary? No, because it shows some kind of modalities. Okay, modalities. The short form of modalities are shortened in the form of modals. Now there was a question raised by 8th standard student. Why, ma'am, you're pronouncing it as modal auxiliary? It is modal, no? Yeah, we can pronounce it as modal. Okay, modal verbs. There is nothing wrong to say modal verbs, but modalities shorten modals. That is why I am just pronouncing. It is not, I cannot say that that is the only right pronunciation. There are different pronunciations. Okay, so Indian English pronunciation is different. We can say modal auxiliary. There is nothing wrong to say modal auxiliaries, but I am, as it is an abbreviated or a shortened form of modalities, I am using modals. Okay, if somebody else, when if you get a class of Praveena, ma'am, you ask her. You are actually getting an accent training class,
Ma'am,
right?
she said that. Ma'am, she told that.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
She told that.
Okay, accent classes. Okay, fine. Okay, you can use in different.
To read.
Yes.
She made us to read.
If you get the pronunciation of modal auxiliaries, you can listen 2-3 times and you can just get the right one. Okay, so use it accordingly. So clear? Am I clear, children? Am I clear, children?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so the modalities I said, it is see modality. The word is modality. Okay, modal quality. It is called modal quality. So modality, like ability. See here, many words. I can speak 4 languages. That is my ability, right? It is my ability, my quality. I can speak 4 languages. What are the 4 languages that I can talk? I am fluent in Malayalam. I am fluent. See, I have to say I am fluent in Malayalam. I am fluent in English. Then
Hindi.
are you fluent in French?
Yeah,
You started learning French, right?
Yes, some.
At least you started, no? You know how to write French
Not
letters, right?
fluent, some.
Okay, so okay, fine, but you know French language. That is your third language, and you are learning English. Sorry, Hindi also, right?
Yes.
If I ask you a question, तुम कौन हो? You can give me an answer. नाम क्या है? You can answer me, right? If I ask a question, what नाम क्या है? So you will be
मेरा नाम
responding,
एंजेलिना.
ma'am, Chris Joe. Right? So you can understand language, right? So you know 4 languages, my children. I don't know a single word in French. Okay, how to say good morning? How to say good morning? Devak Menon. Devak, please teach me how to say good morning in French.
Bonjour.
You are singing a song for me. Christo, how to say
Bonjour, madame.
bonjour, madame. Madame means madam, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No, in English is when they came here, old people, old ancient, not ancient, before
Shakespeare,
1947 and all, Malayalis. Before 1947, all Malayalis used to call the white ladies Madama in Malayalam, right?
Yes, ma'am, I know.
Madama
Yes,
in
ma'am.
Malayalam. This Madama has come from the word madam,
And then
right?
can be
Madam,
called
Malayalam
Madama
usage is
Koda, like that.
Madama. Okay, so please listen. You are capable enough to speak 4 languages, children. Oh my God, you know 4 languages. I am only limited with 3 languages. I can speak 3
Ma'am, I
languages. You
know
wish me in
Arabic.
French. You know Arabic, so 5 languages, Siana Jafar. Excellent. So she has got another language also.
Ma'am, I know
Wonderful.
to read Arabic, not
My goodness. Anyway, you have another language with you, right? So you are multilingual. Multilingual means more than
also.
yes, Rena Fatima.
more than 3 languages.
Rana Fatima, you know more than 3 languages. Wonderful. Fida Fatima and all, they got a chance for learning Arabic. Wonderful. So another beautiful language is in your custody, right? So wonderful, children. Keep it up. So learn whenever you get time. If you get a time to learn Tamil, because our neighboring state is Tamil Nadu, right? You learn it.
I know Tamil and Konkani.
Pooja, very good. I know. You know Konkani. So how many languages do you have?
Tamil, Konkani, Hindi, English, and Malayalam.
No, what about French? 6 languages. 6 languages. Wonderful. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so teach us a few words. Okay, whenever you come to school, we'll have a language club here. So you have to teach Kongani. So at least the basic knowledge can be learned, right? And Tamil also. If I visit Tamil Nadu, I can speak fluently there, right? So whenever you get a chance, if there is a language club and all, if you have Tamil in Tamil language is fluent in you, means you can transfer it to me. Okay, if once we speak, automatically we improve. Now, when we come to this world, we are actually just know a word cry, the sound of cry, right? But we developed languages slowly, right? I know only cry when I came to this world. Okay, but only that sound. Then I started imitating, right? When I was a small little one, I started imitating everyone. When I reached into schools, I tried to imitate my teachers, their mannerisms, their styles, right? I had a wonderful teacher called Geeta Kumari during my school days. She was my Malayalam teacher. The way she comes, the sari she wore, I was so touched. Okay, whenever I get a chance, I used to touch the pallu of the sari of my teacher. You know, pallu, the mundani, the back fleet is called the pallu. So whenever I get a chance, if the teacher turns, I have a habit of touching the sari. Okay, because I do love my teacher too much. Okay, very much. Okay, we have habits. If my teacher touches me, ooh, what a awesome! Oh, I am so over proud. The teacher pat right here on my shoulder, and she said, "Good child, you are excellent." Right. So I got happy that day. Right. Everyone, for you the same, right? No, you are waiting for getting a touch from your teacher in a way of an appreciation, right? If we get an appreciation from our dear teacher, means we'll be overjoyed that day. That day is ours, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, of course. So I can speak 5 languages. See, Pooja said, ma'am, I can speak 6 languages, multilingual. Okay, I can speak 6 languages. Wonderful. See, it shows her ability. For that only we are using modal auxiliary verbs. Okay, not for showing the tense forms, but we are using will and shall for constructing future tenses. right? We are using will or shall for constructing future tenses, but that is limited in sense because we have many other duties or many other functions apart from the tense construction. We can even predict the, or we can even show the possibility it may rain today, right? There are chances for raining, right? Ma'am, may I come inside the class? You're asking permission. For these, we are using, could you please give me, see, if I ask Rena Fatima, give me your pen. No, she won't give because I am commanding her to give her pen. She is the owner of that pen and I am commanding her to give. She won't give it. But if I use in this way, Rena, I forgot to take my pen. Could you please give me your pen? Of course, ma'am, I have 2 pens. If you want, I'm give all my pens, right? This is the way. So for this only we are using the modal auxiliaries. Okay. So apart from tense construction, this one has many other functions in English grammar. Clear? Am I clear?
Yes,
Yes or
ma'am.
no? Yes, children. And only this much I should, and to force someone to do something. Okay, to force someone to do something means you must clean your plate. Ammas usually say, yesterday my son, he was not washing his utensils at home. He was not even cleaning his plate after food. He kept the plate in kitchen and he left. So I called, Kanna, come here, and told him to clean the plate. So Amma said, you must clean the plate. So what is, there is no other option, right? We have to go to the kitchen again and remove all the waste from the plate and have to wash it with soap and keep it there down, right? No other choice. So if there is no choice, with a force, we can use MUST, must. Okay, and obligation. The word obligation is used to show a moral obligation. Obligation, the word means
Ought to you also.
if the moral obligation, to express a moral duty. Moral duty means that is actually there within us. It is not by force, but we have a responsibility, right, to do something. If I hear national anthem from school, it's my duty as a student and being a patriot or a Indian citizen, I have to stand up and respect my national anthem, right? I ought to stand up when the national anthem is going on, right? If there is a, if the light and fan is on, it is your responsibility. When you go out of the room, you ought to switch off that light and fan, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
It is your
Yes, ma'am.
responsibility. It is your responsibility. It is not done by force. You have some responsibilities. If the water is leaking, as a citizen of India, if we see a water is leaking there at the roadside, we have to stop our car or whatever it is and just block it, right? Or just close it, right? This is called responsibility, moral duty. This is not done by force. It is our responsibilities to do all these things. Okay, so for that we are using the modal auxiliary verbs. Am I clear? This is the only use of modal auxiliary verb, and this is an auxiliary verb because it supports the main verb all the time. Clear? And remember, whenever you use a modal auxiliary verb in your sentence, you can use only the base form of the verb after that. Okay. Okay, very good. Good children here. See, now we are coming into the do forms. Do forms, here only we are planning to stress on the concept called splitting of verbs. Okay, so as you all know, do singular or plural in form present tense. Do and does present. Did is the past. Remember, do is plural in form and does is singular in form. Both singular and plural we are using did. Am I clear? Am I clear? So here we start the splitting of the verb. Children, each and every verb includes in itself a do form. Remember this in your mind. If you get a main verb, jump. If you get a main verb singular, jumps. If you get a main verb past tense, jumped. Okay, so jump, jumps, jumped. Okay, these are the main verbs, right? So there in those main verbs, you can see a hidden verb. Okay, this hidden verb is actually a do form. We can split. Okay, we can split a main verb to get an auxiliary verb hiding inside. Okay, and these auxiliary verbs are do, does, and did in form. Clear? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Splitting.
Attendance.
I'll take sing. If the verb sing, to get an auxiliary verb from this main verb sing, I should split do plus sing. See, base form. After splitting, I can use base form. If the verb sings, singular, as you all know, does is singular in form and the word is ending in s, I can use does plus sing because from this s is removed into does. So again, the remaining is only sing, right? If it is sang, it is the past form of the verb. So there is one did hiding inside. Okay, so I have taken the hidden did from that and I got sing alone. Okay, did plus sing. This process of splitting a main verb into do form plus base form, this is said to be the splitting of verbs in English grammar. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I clear? So 1 minute. Let me take attendance, children.
Ma'am, can